Hi, we're back. This is Fargosa16 with Mr. Creepypasta.
Hi, everybody.
I'm still not 100% sure what we're doing here. We're doing some sort of thing.
Let's go ahead and just set this. The topics that we're going to be discussing, we're going to be doing two creepypastas this time. So we'll be talking about Smile.jpeg and Mr. Widemouth, because Mr.
Yes.
Widemouth holds a special place for me.
For both of us, actually. That was actually the creepypasta that got both of us into this.
You too, really? Because I know I said that
Yeah,
one
we
earlier.
talked about this last time.
Yeah, okay. I have a horrible memory, so
It's
that's gonna happen. I'm gonna ask you like multiple questions. It's gonna be a flashback for anybody who's watching along.
Yeah.
But okay, well I guess we'll start off with that one. So you're saying it. So wait, how did that pull you in? Like, well, what do you have to say about it first? Your general opinion about Mr. Widemouth.
I like Mr. Widemouth, and I definitely have some things to say about how it affected the community a bit. Because what I noticed is, following kind of the creepypasta trend timeline, it started a trend that was ignored, but I've been seeing definitely coming back recently, especially with stuff like Pen Pal.
Go on. I would like to know that then. Go ahead. Tell me about that one. So I'm going to say I like the story too. It was what pulled me into creepypasta to begin with, but I want to know what you have to say about
when I first like I said before in the last video, when I first got into creepypasta, the fandom was kind of at the end, was kind of towards the end of the lost episode dynasty, as you would, and was coming into the serial killer dynasty. And from what I'm able to understand, I think the thing that was really big before last episodes was monsters, stuff like Smile Dog and the time of Smile Dog, if you would, and the time of Mr. Widemouth, although video games have been going on forever, so I don't know when that really started.
Okay, fair enough.
And the interesting thing about Mr. Widemouth is it kind of incorporates two genres of creepypasta now. The monster. I mean, he's kind of described as this Furby guy. And what I would almost call pedopasta, which has become really popular recently. And by that I mean creepypastas that involve something that stalks and goes after a child. And for some reason, it's usually connected to said child's father.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I will agree. Yeah, there is a genre of pasta for things that just go specifically for children because there's that sense of horror around things that just kind of attack kids. Where in general horror or the general rule in horror before used to be that you don't kill children. So yeah, that's just kind of like I could see that as a thing that affects all horror genres, not even just creepypastas. But where do you see the connection between Mr. Widemouth and the kid's father?
I didn't say that I see the connection between Mr. Widemouth and the kid's father. I'm saying that most creepypastas in that genre of like pedopasta kind of connect to the father. Like,
oh, I get you. Okay.
The first one that I saw that really connected to this was, I think, what was it? Tall, Thin, and Faceless. Was that what it was called?
Yeah,
the guy turns into Slender Man and he kills his kids and family. Yeah.
Well, okay, that's debatable whether he had done so or not. So
still, there's a connection. He was blamed for it in the end. Like, I keep forgetting creepypasta titles in these. Laughing Jack is like the now big name for that genre next to Pen Pal, but we never get a name for the guy in Pen Pal, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say the guy in Pen Pal. I think now, because if you read the novel of Pen Pal, you'll actually end up getting a lot more
detail.
Yeah, like the posts that were made by Thousand Vulture on Reddit were, I'm not gonna lie, just absolutely fantastic, and one of my favorite stories that I've ever read.
These episodes keep bringing us back to pen pals.
Yeah, well, it's hard to stray away from pen pal because I really kind of feel like pen pal is one of the great stories.
I think on creepypasta.com it's actually listed as the greatest creepypasta.
I could see that, and I could. It's very very arguable that pen pal is one of the, if not the greatest creepypasta that's written for the online genre. But
Oh, I was wrong.
Hmm?
It's actually Psychosis.
That one, okay, then yeah, I could see that one being one of the great ones as well. But pen pal really kind of gives a lot more in depth, because I know when at least when I was posting up the videos of the readings I was doing with pen pal, one of the really big theories was that the guy was his father, yeah. Which you can find out that it's not when you when you reach the end of it. If that's a spoiler for anybody, then I apologize, but that's not really so much a spoiler. But in the novel, if you read the printed novel or the Kindle novel, it gives you so much more context about who this guy is and his interaction with the main character throughout this story that you don't even pick up on. I think even in like the original story that was written, he's mentioned a couple of times, but you just don't know it. And that was
There's actually one just go completely off topic and talk about pen pal.
Oh, we're already way off topic.
Oh yeah. There's one little detail that I noticed in that story that I swear was intentional, but I don't think anyone, or at least not very many people, have noticed so far. It's during the chapter of Balloons. The one with the kids like in kindergarten.
Yeah.
When he's writing the letter that's eventually found by the stalker, he writes a question, and it's, what do you like? And in response, he gets all these photographs of him.
No, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. I swear that, I don't know if that was intentional or not.
I'm pretty sure it was. Like, because this is a story that was so well planned and well thought out that I don't think that Thousand Vulture would really have put that in there if it wasn't necessary. He is when it comes down to writing, he is
top quality.
Yeah, he is top tier. But back to the thing that we were talking about. We're supposed to be talking about Mr. Widemouth. And you said you already like this. You've already said that you like the story, and I have to agree. I really like the story as well. It's the story that I really kind of found when I was reading creepypasta.com. It was when I was working at AT&T, and they didn't have a whole lot of the features that they have on the site now, like a rating system for one. They didn't have that, so I think it was like 13 pages, and you just kind of go where you wanted to. But the one that had the most comments on it, and when they had their forum, the one that had the most posts about it was Mr. Widemouth, which was probably one of the most popular stories that were on the site at the time. So that's really what kind of drew me in, was because I was like, I want to get good at reading these when I started narrating them, and then I can try and I could try and do Mr. Widemouth, which if you listen to the first one I did was absolutely horrid, but it was one of those ones that really kind of inspired what I was trying to do, to say I want to get better so I can do this story, because this is one of my absolute favorite stories that I've ever seen or ever heard of. But one of the major comments was definitely about the fact that they had brought children there, or the fact that it's one of those kind of flashback stories where he's kind of recalling something from his youth that was not as innocent as he quite remembers it, which is such an awesome theme to carry in a story.
One of the other, speaking of themes for that story, one thing that I absolutely love in creepypastas is what I'm going to call self-continuous. They don't get sequels. There are no or they might get sequels. They might get prequels. But the end of the story is clearly not the end of the story. It's just the end of the protagonist's experience with this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when the guy goes to the graveyard, you can that's a clear indication that this little thing has killed before, is still killing and is going to kill more.
Kill more people, yeah. And I feel like that's, and this is like, I know I'm harping back towards 80s horror, but I feel like that's a major thing that we like a major theme that just comes around from
It's continuous.
yeah, from 80s horror. In Friday the 13th, the series, that was one of the things I actually really loved about that series was the main character of it was Jason, in the same way that the main character of Mr. Widemouth is Mr. Widemouth. It's not really the protagonist as we know him. Like we're learning things about him, we're learning about his life, but the story ultimately revolves around Mr. Widemouth. And the fact is, like in Friday the 13th, it's almost done the same way. Each chapter is somebody's involvement with Jason Voorhees. Not necessarily, the story isn't really about anybody else but him when you look at the entire series. And that could be the same way that's done with Mr. Widemouth, but of course nobody really went in, as far as I know, and made a sequel to that story, because it's so difficult to write a sequel to that one, because you're not too sure exactly what Mr. Widemouth's motivation is throughout the entirety of that story. It's what he really kind of does is just leads you around to...
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry. I was going to say, I was kind of interpreted as he's just kind of a smaller version of the Seed Eater. And he's just taking these kids out to an easier spot to, I guess, kind of kill them and then eat them.
I guess. I mean, like, it's not really kind of shown that he eats them. And the ways that he's trying to kill them has always been very, very much to make it look like the kids killed themselves. They were being stupid children kind of thing. The only plus side that the protagonist in that story really had was the fact that he wasn't stupid. He knew there's some things that he shouldn't do or things that were dangerous. Which, I guess, depending on the age group of who you are...
I'm sorry. I'm just... The fact that you're just... This is kind of like a... this story's a little dumb, not as dumb as Jeff the Killer is with how unrealistic, but just the idea that some kid killed themselves by juggling knives, and their parents' first reaction was, I always knew Billy was an idiot.
Yeah. Okay. That's not quite as far as I was going. But what I'm talking about is like, if you imagine this, okay? If you are, say, I don't know how old you are. If you are, say, I don't know, 10. And you're a 10-year-old, and you end up having some kind of thing, a mythical creature that, as far as you can tell, that is not an imaginary creature, something that just completely comes out of the blue, that's completely strange to you, you've never seen it before, you've never heard of it before, and it actually tells you that it has magical powers, and that you'll be able to do things that you see in movies, things you'll be able to see any one of your heroes do in comic books or television or cartoons, whatever.
I don't think Mr. Redmouth even gives a reason for the kid to juggle knives.
He doesn't. He says he can teach it, but I mean that's basically the same thing as if if the genie from Aladdin just suddenly appeared, just out of nowhere, just right there it is, and he goes, "Hey, juggle these swords." Well, you really kind of question it too much because I mean, it's basically a cartoon character. You know everything in that cartoon came out okay, so why shouldn't you come out okay if you do what he tells you to do?
Good point.
It kind of judging from the age that the child is supposed to be in that story.
Yeah.
Makes it seem like it's going to be okay for him to do this. He just so happens to be more intelligent than you'd think. The same thing, like I've put a real trampoline outside that window. Usually, as a child, you're not going to double think it. He goes like, well, okay, he did it, so I can actually jump this time. It'll be fun. Versus really kind of giving logic to it to say, what if he's trying to trick me? Should I actually trust this thing or not? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Although, to be fair, if there was actually a trampoline, you'd still probably die.
Could be. Yeah. I'm not going to argue physics there. You're probably going to die. Especially if you do one of those horrible things where you miss it and you, like, land beam on the side.
Oh, God, yes.
But that really, I kind of feel like...
And we've lost Mr. Creepypasta.
Oh, I'm back.
Alright.
But that really kind of, what I was saying is I feel like that really kind of speaks to it really speaks to the audience that that's supposed to be geared toward.
Yeah. Because, alright, I'm not even gonna say it.
Speaking of the audience things you're supposed to be geared for, Smile Dog.
Oh, yeah.
I can go ahead and say the same thing, seeing as the entire, and this Smile Dog reaches more towards, since you're going to go ahead and say that there was that kind of child genre, the Smile Dog really kind of speaks more toward a meta genre of creepypastas, to say that things that you're experiencing, you're not too, or the things that the main character is experiencing, you can't really tell if it's real or if it's actually just a story that's made up. From the way that Smile Dog is written, it's made to look like it's almost just, I've finished research on this and I'm just regurgitating or copy-pasting that information online so that everybody has a warning about what's going on, and you're not going to take this, you're not going to take this as a just a joke when it actually happens to you. And that right there, I really kind of feel like is meta horror, like the same way that Candle Cove. You're not too sure if Candle Cove was done up as, an actual fiction, or if it's something that somebody has experienced and they were like, look at this, this is really kind of freaky. And it just so happened to get around to these sites that make it look like horror fiction. Smile Dog, at least in as far as I can tell, was the first one to come out in that same direction. As Candle Cove may have come first, but I don't know. Smile Dog was the first one that I saw, at least, that came out in that direction, and really kind of makes you think, especially when you start getting those kind of emails. Like I was telling you earlier, I got an email just a short while ago that was the exact same Smile email with that photo of Smile Dog that just says, hey, I heard that you were looking for this, just spreading the word, with a smiley face, and it had the attached thing, smile.jpeg, and I was just like, nope.
Okay, quick question. Which version of the smile.jpg image do you actually like more? The red photoshopped one or the quote unedited version?
Well, would you give them names like that? No, I prefer the quote unquote unedited version, but what I've actually seen most people tend to like more is the that red one. Yeah, the red one. Because it's definitely more unsettling to look at that one.
I'd kind of say that the other one, the original one, is more unsettling to look at, although I prefer the red one.
You do? I like see the.
I think it's a very good editing job. Yes.
The red one, yeah, I'll say it is a very good editing job if it actually is edited. But that red one looks far more gory and bloody and just all around a very more horrific image. I feel like the first one is a bit more unsettling because it actually seems like this could be the image that they're talking about. Like this could be the one, at least from the smile.dog, smile.jpeg story, that they're actually mentioning, and that's the one I got in the email also. But
oh, the one with the hand.
Yeah, the one with the hand. Because when it's described in the story, smile.dog, they say that it looks like somebody's hand is reaching towards the camera.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. That was the first thing that it mentions, that it's reaching towards the camera as if it's begging for some kind of help or relief or whatever.
Sorry, everyone. I have seasonal allergies.
Oh, those suck.
So that's why I sound really weird.
Oh, at least it'll be done in another 2 months.
Oh, the pollen around here is awful this year.
No, same here.
Yeah.
But I feel like that the smile.jpg actually kind of opened the way for a lot of different meta horrors, and even quite possibly opened the way for a lot of video game stories that kind of reach also into things that are being meta horror, like the stories of Ben Drowned.
Oh, yeah.
Also seem like they're almost trying to be a meta story. Like, it gave you a circumstance that was very different than most stories that I had seen. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of one in particular, which any names are kind of getting away from me, but the general kind of structure I see a lot for a lot of video game stories are they'll find a mod online. Pokemon Black, Creepy Black, is that where he'll find a mod online and he'll play it. Or Strangled Red, the same thing. I'll find a mod online and I'll play it.
Are you sure? I've been seeing more of just copying exactly what Vendown did. Or you go to a yard sale or you find this game on eBay. Oh no, it's haunted. The end.
Yeah, I'll see that a bit more. I'll see that a lot more now, but a lot of the stories that I'm just kind of bringing up, because I guess maybe I'm just just thinking of Pokemon stories because the one coming to mind now are like Lost Silver, Strangled Red, Pokemon Creepy Black is the same thing. They all find a mod online, they play it, and they're not able to find the significance. And it's not really a thing where I have a problem with those. I mean, in a lot of cases, they're actually really good. Like I loved Strangled Red a lot.
Oh yeah, I love that one. That's like, I know a lot of people who say that Lost Silver or whatever that one's called.
Yeah, Lost Silver. That's right.
Is the best of the Pokepastas, but I'd say Strangled Red is the best till the end.
Yeah, well, I could see that. I mean, like Creepy Black and Strangled Red have a very different kind of horror than Lost Silver had. Lost Silver was sticking to what we generally think of as horror: blood, dismemberment, death, things like that. Strangled Red and Creepy Black, although they do have things that died in them, were very much a questioning of what is the message that you're trying to tell me, and why is that message becoming very eerie to me despite it being so simple. If you remember in Creepy Black, it kind of had that feel of, and we're like so far off topic, we keep doing that, but Creepy Black had this this kind of feel of every time that you fought somebody's Pokemon, you killed it. No, you didn't kill it. Every time you used Ghost to do an attack, you killed something. Same thing, you kill the trainer. You could kill everybody in the world, and when it came down to it, you eventually died yourself. And no matter what you did, you would eventually die yourself, which is more of a message on just futility in life. And it was such a simple message, but why did it have to be told to me in this way? And that's really what kind of made it so eerie. Same thing with Pokemon, if you remember, Strangled Red Pokemon. They made you question about the world that you played in Pokemon, about who you play as when you're Red, or the father that you had as Red, etc., etc. And it was, I don't know, I feel like it just adding that little bit to the lore and making it so much darker, really kind of just made what is it? Ruin my childhood thing. Childhood ruined immediately. Yeah. But back on topic to Smile Dog, I don't feel like it really tried to ruin your childhood, but it definitely did try to leave a message to the person of the chain letters and things like that you would end up getting a lot. That message you'll find like even in Facebook comments and things now, like if you don't copy paste this 10 times, then a little girl is going to come and kill you in such and such, tonight at 12 a.m. And it really kind of gives a lot more life to it, because when you're reading Smile Dog, you're now unsure, well, if this happened to this person, if this is true, then, does that mean that that one of those chain letters could actually be true? Could it actually affect me in the way that it says it does? And even still, one of the best messages of that whole story was, because it leaves you with the image. It gives you the image when you see the story. Could I actually be forced to put somebody else under the same torture that I'm in right now by showing them this image? Because the author, or the narrator, the main character, is so... is like so steadfast of like, he's a good person, he's just doing research, this is completely objective, and then he breaks at the end and he gives you, the person, who's the reader, the image, and says, I'm getting myself out of this, now it's your problem. And you even have to ask that same question to yourself. Would you be willing to sacrifice somebody else and put them into that same position that you would be in if this story just so happens to be true? Or would you just suffer with this? Or would you do the unspeakable and kill yourself? God, who her name? Mary E., I believe, was the woman that he interviews. Would you do the same thing that she did? Which is what makes that story so good.
Going back to something you said earlier about those messages on Facebook about how some ghost of some 6-year-old that fell down a well is going to come and kill you if you don't send this to 5
Yeah.
people. I think that one of the best parts about Smile.jpeg is that in the original story, there was no warning with the picture. It was just, I heard you're looking for this, trying to spread the word, something about smiling, the picture. It's not, this picture's going to mess up your life. This picture's going to fuck you over. It's just the picture and a typical, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. I mean, that was, well, in the story, it talks about that message. And the story is really what gives context to the whole thing, which is what I love about it. I mean, like, those emails that you get, they're the same thing. After you've read that story and the same context that you get from that story, is what makes something so simple be so frightening. Like, have you read the cell phone game? I know that one's pretty new. So if you're not up on the up and up,
No, I've heard of it.
yeah, the cell phone game is another one that was just so. I felt like it really kind of made something simple be frightening also, because the message that they shared with each other during the cell phone game was so. I'm trying to remember what that message was, because in the cell phone game you'll die in a week unless you sacrifice somebody else and get them involved in the game, and then I think you get. Or you'll die in 2 weeks, and then you get, every time you bring somebody else in, that time is halved. So, like, you get, after 2 weeks, then you send it to somebody else who'll get 1 week extra. And you'll send it to somebody else who'll get, like, 2 days extra. And so on and so forth. But the message that you send to somebody was, welcome to the game, I think is what it was. And it's just such a simple little thing that you don't, why in the world would you be scared of that? You know what I mean? Welcome to the game is more of a confusing thing. But I did that story back in October, and a lot of people sent me messages or sent me comments and things like that that I got a chance to read about how them and their friends would watch the video or listen to the story, and they would get so freaked out the next day because they would mess with each other by sending each other text messages that would just say, welcome to the game. And it's just one of those things that, again, you're not... Obviously, this one is told as a narrative. It's not from a first-person point of view, I don't think, was it? No, yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was written as, like, an essay.
Yeah, it was first-person. Okay. But it's one of those stories that really becomes questionable. One of those meta-stories that becomes questionable. Is this real? Or is somebody giving a warning about this game to me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really just a lot of the strength that comes from those kinds of stories. Not to go back to last video too much, but Jeff the Killer, the fact that it was told in third person, was one of those stories that just was not able to cash in on that. I feel like if it was told from a first person point of view, from like somebody else who was maybe investigating it, it would have become a little bit more frightening, at least.
Did you ever read the sequel?
Which one?
I think, I don't know what it's called. I think it's like Jeff is Back or something.
Yes, it did.
And, yeah, because I think you did a reading of it.
Yeah, I did. But,
where it's actually being told to you by Jeff, and he's basically telling you that, he's here, you're gonna die, don't try to deny it.
Oh, yes, I did read that one.
And that definitely cashes in on that whole interpersonal relationship between the story and the reader.
Yeah, which is I feel like that one is a lot more horror. Is a lot more scary. It's a lot more like set into horror than the original story was. Some of the sequels are like really fantastic, but yeah.
And we lost him again. Well, this is great. In the last one, the video kept cutting out because of the recording. This time, you're just falling out.
Oh, goddamn, did I not get any of that in? Okay. Long story short, what I just said, I felt like the sequel had a lot better understanding of horror than the original story.
Alright.
But I feel like how long have we been in this? For like half an hour now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's fine.
So I'm going to get back to work then, and we'll look at what
All
we're
right.
going to discuss for what creepypastas we're going to discuss in a very roundabout way on the next episode. Uh,
Yeah, we covered like 5 in this
yeah,
one.
let's go ahead and say it though. Ending thoughts. I still say Smile Dog and Smile Dog and Mr. Widemouth are definitely favorites, creepypastas of mine. They're up there with the top ones because I feel like they show a real understanding of the genre, of the genres for meta horror, and really kind of brought in some stable creepypasta monsters, which I still feel like are incredible, and really add to the creepypasta community. So I really like both stories, and I'm going to.
Yeah. Oh,
You like
sorry. I
them
thought
too?
you were
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were like about to finish, and then you kept talking. So
Oh no.
no,
Go ahead.
just
Yeah,
finish.
you
Oh,
enjoy
no.
you enjoy both the stories too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for Mr. Widemouth, whether or not you like it personally, but if you got to give that story credit. If it wasn't for that, neither of us would be where we are right now, even though I'm really nowhere
Yeah.
to brag
No,
about.
you're my buddy, so that makes it that we wouldn't be buddies if you didn't discover that one.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, you wouldn't be the face of creepypasta. It'd probably end up being Creeps or Junior.
Creeps is the face of British creepypasta. That's his thing.
Is that just a genre now?
British
Creepypasta?
creepypasta. Any creepypasta that's meant to be told with tea and crumpets, that's him.
Yeah.
But anybody who wants to see us discuss something else by actually not discussing it and discussing other pastas that are like it, leave a comment down below,
Yeah.
and we'll try to somehow work that into the next episode.
We'll probably do case files next time if I can finish that story by, like, next. Do you want to do these, like, weekly?
Sure, if I can. Actually, yeah, I'll be done with most of my big time work by next week. So yeah, we can try doing it weekly.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna be doing this weekly. So next time we'll probably do case files. I'm gonna see if I can get Creeps to do a kind of episode on the lost episode creepypastas. That
Cool.
seems to be like, wasn't that like what got him started?
You know, I don't know honestly.
Because I started
I never asked him that question.
I started watching his videos around the time, like maybe a couple months after he actually got started up, and like 90% of his videos were lost episodes.
I know that's a personal favorite of his. Like whether that helped him get started or not, that's something that he enjoys.
Well, yeah,
But
I just feel it'd be more appropriate to talk about it
yeah.
with him here, or just
No, if he's here,
yeah.
I like talking with Creeps. He's hilarious.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, we're just gonna get more and more titles to just throw on these videos.
Nice.
We're turning into a modern day movie.
Oh, okay.
Just a poster with all the popular narrators' names at the top.
I would enjoy that. Just bring everybody in. Let's go ahead and call up Well Hey Productions so he can angrily rant on something. It's great.
Yes.
So I guess I'll see everybody next week then.
Yeah, see you guys.
Bye.
Thanks for all the comments and stuff. I need to stop recording.